And now a word from our host of today's episode. Hello there. Yes, it's true. My name is Micah, and today we are taking a trip, a journey, if you will, to the filming locations of Joe Dante's Matinee, starring Omri Katz and John Goodman. Up until this date, no one has documented the entire filming locations, and today we are tackling a massive chunk of these filming locations. But word of warning, with these filming locations, we will undiscover some truths, some of the deepest, darkest questions that have been burning in audiences' minds since it was released. Where did they film the movie? What was real? What was a soundstage? Today, my friends, we will uncover the truth. The filming locations of the 1993 cult classic, Matinee.
Micah!
Huh?
What are you doing?
I was sleeping.
We gotta go film the matinee locations.
You're right, dude. I thought of the greatest intro for this episode. Hi everybody, and welcome to the world of Micah, and welcome to a very important episode for me. I have been wanting to do the filming locations for Joe Dante's Matinee for years. I actually came down here 2 years ago, shot everything at the theater. When I went home, I accidentally deleted all the footage. Put me in a bad mood. I put it off for so many years, which I'm glad I did, because I was able to meet up with Omri Katz, get a little interview with him about the scenes he was a part of, and also I figured out a few more locations that have never been documented for this. And also tagging along with me is one of my greatest friends, Mike, is
What's
here.
up,
Formerly known as Legends of the Hidden Vlogger.
Formerly known.
I just know him as Mike. He's gonna be hanging out with me. Loves this movie just as much as I do, and it's going to be a lot of fun. We're hoping you guys enjoy this. A lot of this stuff has never been shown before, and we're excited to show you the almost complete filming locations of Matinee. Now,
Let's take a closer look.
so principal photography and filming was taking place here in 1992. Could you imagine the film crew and Joe Dante set up right over there? And this whole street was just blocked off, and these kids were having some fun. Pretty incredible. And this is what the Strand Theater looked like in the film. They were watching Vincent Price Poe's Tales of Terror and Burn Witch Burn. The street sign is Brevard Avenue. You can actually see it says Brevard on that. They didn't even switch that sign out. And then this is the Strand Theater. Current day, it is actually the Cocoa Village Playhouse in Cocoa Beach, Florida. We're gonna take a closer look and see exactly what all they did for this theater to transform it into the Strand. And by the way, all of these matchups of the Strand Theater are gonna be sort of out of order. And this is the beautiful Strand Theater all lit up at night. They were watching the Shook Up Shopping Cart and the Bashful Bobcat. Now, the Shook Up Shopping Cart, we will be visiting the filming locations from that movie as well today at Universal Studios. But this is what it looked like at night, and this is what it looks like current day. Can't wait to really show you guys how they did the Strand marquee and added that to this theater. But in this photograph here, there's a pole. It's like a light pole. I believe it was this light pole. It's just been changed since 1992 when they were doing the principal filming out here. And also the main road here has changed too in recent years. They added like this red carpet with a nice design on it here in front of the theater as well. And this is when Gene was going over to the Key West exterminator vehicle here, and Lawrence Woolsey was hanging his banner there promoting Mant, and that happened right there. They had the big marquee. That thing was very big. Now obviously I cannot get the crane shot that Joe Dante did, but I loved this. This was opening day of Mant, and you can see his arms coming out of the Strand marquee and everyone lining up. And it was right here. That's where it took place. Now pay attention right here next to the door and the poster. You can see the brick was red, white, and then like a pinkish. After all these years, it's still painted the same. The red brick here, the white, and like the pink. And this was the poster in the film as well. The same logo, the same design, the frame, that lip, everything's still here, but this door has changed tremendously. These are probably original doors, and these were probably done for production. More of an era. And we're thinking through the white and the pinkish, there used to be a planter here, and that's where the bottom of the Mant arms were, right about here, because of where the white and that pink. This has all been added, as well as this wheelchair ramp here. I don't think they had that in 1992. And this is the scene where everyone runs out of the theater, kind of like the movie The Blob, because they get terrified and think that the atom bomb was actually set off. Everyone gathered right here in front of the theater where this Boar's Head vehicle showed up right outside of the Strand Theater. And then this is another angle of everyone busting through, just like in the film The Blob. It's kind of like a nod to the movie The Blob right here. So this is how they did the Strand neon marquee. It basically went around the marquee they have here now, and it was extended down pretty low. And then they had another banner hanging down as well. So they just basically masked this entire thing with the marquee. So you can see how they built it to wrap around the front, and they had the Fight Pay TV banner below that, and it was here. Pretty impressive sign, if you ask me, because up close, this is huge. Everything looks different when you're in person, right?
It does. Yes, it does. That's
everything's
true.
kind of a little smaller.
Hollywood magic.
It is. Like, watching the movie, this looks like a massive theater, but you got to think, these are all like small kids. You know, it's the 90s.
And John Goodman.
And John Goodman, yeah. He was larger than life out here, I'm sure. So this is where we first meet Gene. Gene and his little brother are walking out of the theater. They had just seen the trailer for Mant, and we're noticing the ticket booth here looks pretty much the same after all these years. The door has been changed, like I said earlier, but the brick and everything here still matches up to this day. See, they were watching Tales of Terror here at the Strand Theater, but he was putting up the Lawrence Woolsey cardboard cutout of Mant right here. And this is the evening when you meet Herb Denning and Bob, played by Dick Miller, who was in every single Joe Dante film. He always had a cameo, but they were out here protesting against the film, even though we find out later they worked for Lawrence Woolsey. This is the way they riled up the crowd to make them really want to see the film. And that happened right out here in front of the ticket booth and that door. So we see Bob and Herb Denning right here, Dick Miller, and this is Sandra's parents, who were kind of questioning these guys here. And that took place right here. There's the tree, and the marquee was where you see Steel Magnolias and the Music Man. Had a bunch of extras out here as well. Here's another photo of Herb Denning and Gene and his little brother. Took place right here. And then finally, our hero, Lawrence Woolsey, walks up. Hello, I'm Lawrence Woolsey. The whole crowd was excited to see him, and look, he shook hands with even his biggest critics, the protesters, even though they did work for him. And that took place right here. Pretty incredible to think that John Goodman was just hanging out right here. Just see how low that marquee is? John Goodman's like 6 foot tall, so this was pretty low right here. Mike, go stand right there and face me. Come a little closer. And yeah, you're about right where Lawrence Woolsey was. And Lawrence Woolsey breaks up the tension between everyone and starts passing out free tickets to Mant. Genius idea. Trying to get this angle the best I can. This is Gene walking up to Lawrence when he was hanging his banner on the exterminator van. That took place right here in front of this building. This was the tree, and the sign used to be right there for the old business here, and they had cars parked here fitting the time period. But this roof line, this entire roof has changed tremendously. You can see right behind Gene there. And I'm trying to do this really quick. I'm standing right where Lawrence Woolsey was, and that tree behind Gene was right here. And what's cool is the vehicle we're standing next to, this boar's head thing, is red, just like the exterminator. And the car that's about to hit us is also red. This is awkward. We're right in the middle of the traffic, Mike. So yeah, the promo for the exterminating company and Mant had their vehicle right there, exactly where that boar's head brand. And I'm glad they showed up after we shot our shots when we first got here, because they're basically blocking this entire theater now. And here in the middle of the street is where Lawrence and Gene meet for the first time, and Gene tells him he knows who Herb Denning was, that he works for him. Lawrence kind of takes him under his wing and explains his whole process to him. Tomovision. Now this was the Key West Marine and Hardware store that Gene and Lawrence walked out of. It's now a restaurant, Azorio, but they were supposed to be on Eaton and Duval Street in actual Key West. These scenes were all shot here in Cocoa. Now pay attention to the Marine and Hardware store, the way that design is right there. It still looks the same to this day. Straight ahead, that's where they walked out of. And the sign for Duval and Eaton would have been right there on the corner, just a fake sign, because we're still on the same sidewalk as the Strand Theater in the film. But we're in Cocoa, not Key West. It's larger than life. It's called a Tomovision. Yeah. Gene and Lawrence Woolsey were continuing their walk. You can see that Bailey sign above Gene's head, and this overhang still looks the same. It was white back in the film, but right over here is where they had the hooks hanging for that Bailey sign. It's pretty cool. It's been here after all those years, because they walked straight ahead from that hardware store and they made their way back to the Strand Theater, and right up here is where we get the famous woolly mammoth story from Lawrence Woolsey and that amazing animation. What sucks is today there's another poster here, but this used to be where he did that entire speech in animation. Animation all took place. It was right here where this Music Man is.
Right here.
He slapped it just like that. That's great. The Lawrence Woolsey Mammoth Wall. Right here. And then they went and walked into the theater, but it then cut to Universal Studios in the soundstage. You can see Stan, played by Omri Katz, here talking to his friends, and then his girlfriend walks up. She's pretty ticked off because he lied about going to the monster movie. That took place right here. She was pretty ticked off. All took place out here in front of his friends. This is his buddy. He's giving him a hard time. And he was right here. They had that air conditioning sign hanging underneath the Strand marquee. Sandra's parents walked out of the door right here, and that was like the only time you really saw inside the theater from this, perspective, not inside the actual soundstage they filmed. And they walked out here, and then you can see Gene's mom and his brother and Stan here talking. And this is when they discover that Gene and Sandra were locked in the fallout shelter. So you can see Harvey and Shelley right here in front of these three doors. Now they used to be blue. They've been repainted, but even the wall work right here, the way that cuts in and everything, the grooves next to Harvey's Danny Zuko look, they're right here. Those three doors. And then Omri comes to the rescue right outside of this door. You can see he comes busting out, and there's even the drain pipe right there. It's been colored white, but it was blue, but that's the door right there. Is that your best Omri?
That's it.
Get out for your punk. That's right, he goes over here, and his vehicle, the red car is right here, and Omri goes for a swing right there. You know, it's crazy. This whole thing has been added on. Look, right here, there used to be like a little indention, and this wall has been really extended back here. They've done a lot of work back here, by the way. We'll talk about this staircase in just a minute, because they actually drove that vehicle through here, and I'm pretty sure they removed the staircase for filming, and this staircase might be what they replaced it with after filming. That happens sometimes during film shoots. And I'm pretty sure Omri's head was down here. Like I said, a lot of stuff's changed down here, especially some of the rock work on the ground, and the concrete's been changed a lot, but this is when he got knocked down, of course, had a bloody nose right there. Then we cut, I feel like I'm doing like one long scene. We cut to the vehicle, and it's a low shot. This vehicle always reminded me of Christine. But pay attention to this vent right here. I'm going to show you where that used to sit. Now the angle was way down here, just like that. Now, remember that vent? Well, the way I know where it used to be is these poles right here are still here. So you go right here, and I don't know if it's going to show up on camera, but you can see where they basically cut out right here where that vent used to be in the wall. If you get closer, you can see where they actually cut it completely. It makes a complete box. And now all of their vents are little exteriors, what they put on, you know, out here, these little boxes. So that's pretty cool to see how much has changed. And then the car takes off. Now pay attention to these little poles here, the door, and the little piping right here. That's this piping here. And then the door next to the car is right here. And then this little drain pipe right there, the red one, is this little guy right here. So you can see this staircase was not in the shot, completely removed from filming, but there is a staircase right above. And the car went straight down this way. And Mike was just saying, what a tight squeeze. And yeah, it totally was a tight squeeze. Right here. Obviously that staircase wasn't here. But you see this little square in the street? Pretty sure that was somewhere around in here. In this area. It could very well be this drain here. Now the only way to really match this up is to look at the piping and see how much has changed in the building straight ahead. We know this is the alley right here. Now, if you look at these pipings in this box and this piping used to be right here. The piping is still there and the box was here. It's been completely redone, but that's it. And then also on the other side, this is now white and it sits right here. And then they were heading straight towards the barricades and the folks that were straight ahead. So the old staircase, you can see they got the car through, and the old staircase was right up there where it still is now, but it used to go across. You can see it goes right across. And Harvey's car came busting through right here. You see Rumble-Rama promoted on the Strand Theater. Happened right there. So cool. That tree is in the shot actually. And then of course he wrecks the vehicle right here in front of the theater, in front of the crowd. Awesome. And this is the only time you see these doors open and you can actually see the floor of this theater. Now they would cut to the soundstage after this, but You can see what the doors looked like and the flooring here at the theater. So the theater was nice enough to let us open the doors here and show you guys what it looks like here inside the theater. This is it. Now in days, completely different from the film, but the opening right here can be seen in the movie. You see the trim and the way it's cut. That's that right here. It's cool. The brick was covered up for film, and the floor was just a little different tile, a little thicker tile, but they walked right in here, and there's the stairs for this theater, but it's not for the Strand Theater. Pretty cool. Yeah, never been in here. I don't think this has ever really been documented. A lot of people have filmed the outside of this theater, but I don't think anybody's really ever gotten inside. So principal filming began in 1992, and the film was released in 1993. Now they shot in Cocoa, Maitland, which is right outside of Winter Park, and at Universal Studios, Florida. Now they also shot a few scenes at Key West, like on location in Key West, Florida. They filmed on Smathers Beach when you see Stan and Gene walking over and looking at all the military guys. They also shot the houses for all the kids who had parents who were in the Navy and everything, actually on grounds at their Navy base in Key West. Those two locations are not going to be done today. We're not going to Key West. And then they also shot a very important restaurant scene at the Bull, which is down there on Duval Street. So they did shoot in Key West, but we're doing everything but those locations. All right, welcome to Maitland Middle School and Domerick Elementary School. This was the location of the school in Matinee. Now, I don't know what rules are with schools nowadays, so I'm just driving through. Can't really get on campus, on property, and match anything up. But this is the school, and if you guys know, a little trivia, what was the school's mascot? They actually had a big statue of it, and this school has been like redone in a lot of locations and spots too, so just letting you guys know. So now we are at Universal Studios Florida, where a lot of production went into play here for the film Matinee. 3 huge filming locations were done here. All the interiors of the bedrooms, all the interiors of the movie theater, everything was shot on location here at the sound stages. They also filmed a movie here called The Shook Up Shopping Cart, which was a movie in the movie Matinee they watched at the Strand Theater. We're gonna find those filming locations, and also the movie they made for the film Mant was all shot here in Sting Alley. Let's go find those locations. Let's start off with Mant. Now this was from Mant. You can see Nurse, the little private investigator they had in the film, who was working with her, trying to get her husband back to normal, I guess. They were standing right here in front of Nazerman's. The sign is pretty much the same, and the address has not changed, the 109 here. But it was different in the film above the door, but the light is the same. They were standing right here. This is also from Mant. You can see all the war guys set up. You can see all the military guys set up here with their guns. And that happened right here in front of Haagen-Dazs. That window, this door, that pole can all be seen right here. They set up a complete war zone here. How cool is that? And then this was a close-up of them looking at her husband Bill, who was the giant ant Mant right here. There's the light in the window. It could be seen right there. The window to my right on my thumb. Here's a different shot, but you can see 307 in that window again right here. Now this has been changed and converted into a Haagen-Dazs, but this is 307. They had some chairs over here to get their shoes shined. And they also had the ballroom sign lit up, and that ballroom sign is right there. And those shoes, where you get your shoes shined, were set up right here for Mant. And what's cool is after all these years, this is still the ballroom. You see it right here. See the ballroom sign? Well, that sign can be seen in the shot right there. They were standing over here discussing things underneath that sign. Now Sting Alley is packed right now because they have some Mardi Gras food set up, but I wanted to show this window here. This Siegler Bros warehouse can be seen when they're walking through Sting Alley. All three of the actors right there. And there it is, the Siegler Brothers warehouse sign. They took this pole down. This pole wasn't here, but they were walking right through here. And this is probably my favorite shot down here in Sting Alley. You can see the staircase, the opening, and even the old signs they had, the fireworks sign right here. There's the staircase, the fireworks banners there. It's now a Ringling, but they still have the fireworks sign. This is where the guys were coming with the pitchforks and the flames, starting like a mob for this Mant. And see that fireworks poster right there? It's right here. Fireworks. So the film that they made for the film, Matinee, starts off right here at the Barnes Apartments. That's the apartments in the film. And then the lead characters walk down the stairs. Right about here, you can actually see that O'Rourke sign and this pole right here in the shot, them walking down the stairs. All took place right there. And then the nun with the guitar and the main actors were walking right here. You can see the staircase in what is now the holiday shop. Right here, the nuns were standing there, and there's the staircase. Then they make their way down this way. And what's cool is, pay attention to this Park Plaza sign. In the film, it was jewelry. Now it's the holiday shop, but you can see them standing here. There's the plaza sign, and it says jewelry. They stood right here when he said, a shopping cart. Right here, there's the Park Plaza sign. They were standing right here. In fact, this pole here, this drain, can be seen right there to the left of her hat. They were in a stick-up right here with the two robbers. You can see the guy in the background painting, and this is where that took place. The wall and everything looks the same, including the stairs. This has been repainted straight ahead. It used to be gray, but this is where they had the big stick-up. This was the next angle. Right here, that used to be to the right, past that brick, used to be painted a really bright red. It's faded over years, and it's like a completely different finish. But the brick right here looks the same from the shot. So the shopping cart comes racing in right in front of these two staircases here. It's difficult to line this exact shot up because of this. Mardi Gras is here at Universal, but I'm gonna try my best. So right here, between these two staircase posts here, the shopping cart comes racing and then continues, and this you can easily match up because of that little area right there is still here next to this post. So the shopping cart would have come straight down here, and he headed right to where the two robbers were, and this is where the big showdown happened, right here. Right here, you can see the shopping cart taking them out, and that all happened right here in front of this door in this window at Universal. Anytime I'm over here, I look at this area and I'm like, this is from the shopping cart film from Matinee. Really cool. Really cool, the brickwork and everything. You can see they spilt the paint on the robber right here because the guy with the ladder and the paint was set up right in front of this wall. And right here is where that paint splatter happened. Then the other guy turned around and of course he bumps into someone who has a cake. And this tree used to have this metal thing around it, kind of holding it in place, as you can see in the shot here next to the staircase. And then wouldn't you know it, they fall right on the ground, and the grate right here is still here. That's where they fell. That's really cool, man. It still looks the same after all these years. And then they thank the shopping cart for saving the day. Like I said earlier, this is a nod to all those old Disney films like Herbie the Love Bug. Just, you know, A ridiculous shopping cart film. All made for Matinee. Pretty awesome. Straight ahead are the sound stages in the old theatrical and television production facilities. I want to say they shot Matinee on stage 21. Could be completely wrong. It's an educated guess. It had to be a large sound stage, so either 21 or 23 would have been the sound stages. They shot the theater, the Strand Theater interiors, and all the bedroom scenes, and the doctor's office and everything for Mant was all shot inside these sound stages. In fact, back in the day when you would visit this place for Halloween Horror Nights, they had these markers on the walls here that you could see while you were in line to go through one of the haunted houses. They've since then, for some reason, removed those plaques, but Matinee was on one of those plaques. Now we're in the small town of Winter Garden, Florida, right outside of the Walt Disney World area. And there was a scene that was shot right down here on where they call Plant Street that took place when everyone was losing their minds about the atom bomb, and they were raiding the shopping center trying to get all the food they could possibly get. And Gene and Stan walked in to see the chaos and kind of poke fun at it and laugh about it, and they ended up seeing Stan's dad inside the store arguing with a gentleman. Do you remember what the food item was they were fighting over? Comment, let me know. But we're gonna go visit that one location out here. So right here you can see Stan and Gene walking right down the street here on Plant Street on the sidewalk. That lamp pole there, these buildings, and this building is where we're standing. Now the building right here, the main marketplace they're gonna go into, has changed quite a bit, but the ceiling still looks pretty much the same on the inside. But this is it right here. They were walking down this area, and this was the marketplace where they went inside. You can see them walking up to the front of the door. Now this is supposed to be Key West, Florida, Duval Street. And that right there is where they walked in. And this was the grocery store here. There are a lot of people inside eating right now. Don't want to mess with that, but that's what the inside kind of looks like now. And this was the back of the store here, kind of where the tiff was happening with Stan's dad right there. Now see right here, this Coca-Cola and the way it indents and everything, it's been completely changed, but there's that window, and this is where it's supposed to indent, but this has been just redone, this whole building here. But this stuff right up here looks the same, and that's that light pole right there that I was talking about in the photograph. Right there behind the gentleman is that light pole in the trees. But they basically walked down here and walked right inside. Now the Three Birds Cafe, but this was the shopping center. And what's cool is like the style of this place still looks the same. Like the window and everything here can be seen like in the thing. But if you walk across the street here, the way this tile looks is how the tile used to look across the street at the marketplace, as you can see in the photo right there. That's how I knew this was where this at, because that light pole can be seen and that building looks the same, but this building has changed so much, like how it indents and the tile. But I saw this tile and thought, wow, this tile has been used on different places around here, and that's what they did across the street here. They just have removed that tile since then, since filming. So the next time you walk down here in Plant Street in Winter Garden, just know you're supposed to be in Key West if you're living in the world of Matinee. And with that, I believe we are done for the day. We have traveled around all of Central Florida. This was a long, full, fun day. And I hope you guys had fun like I did. Pretty awesome day traveling around with my buddy Mike. Got to go to Coco, Maitland, Universal Studios, and Winter Garden. I wish we could have gone to Key West, but Key West is a long, long ways away from Orlando, Central Florida. It takes a long time to get there. So we came, we saw, we took care of business here today, tracking down the filming locations for the 1993 Joe Dante cult classic Matinee. I had a lot of fun doing this. Special shout out to Omri Katz for giving me an insider interview for you guys to watch as a part of the bonus of this episode. And also, thank you guys for supporting me in these filming locations. I love doing them. I love documenting stuff that was filmed in Central Florida, even if the movie was not a box office hit. This movie is one of my favorites of all time, and I hope you guys are encouraged to go and watch it and then come back and watch my filming locations. Please share this all over. Let's see if John Goodman can see this. But it is time to say goodbye. If you enjoyed this episode, please click that thumbs up button, and I will see you guys on the next adventure. Till then, stay weird. Goodbye. So this is Omri Katz, who you might remember from Hocus Pocus, but today we're talking about Matinee.
Yes, sir.
What is your favorite memory on that set?
Oh, gee, favorite. Definitely one of my favorite moments is working in that theater because they had to build that from the ground up.
That was at Universal, right?
That was at Universal Florida.
Yeah.
And you know, you couldn't tell that was all built from scratch.
Right.
With hydraulics. Like, I was always fascinated with the behind the scenes, how effects are created. And that in specific was like, you couldn't destroy an old theater like that in real life. So they recreated it, and I don't know, to me, I'm still very impressed at how that looks on screen.
Did all that stuff just take place in one day? Did you shoot all the theater stuff like in one day when you were watching Mant?
It took them like, I think 2-3 weeks to build it.
Yeah.
And then I think we filmed for approximately a week.
Wow.
To kind of recreate and do things there.
So you're just hanging out and having fun in that theater for a week.
Yeah, and then they just tear it down after.
No!
That's it, it's done. It's
man,
like, really?
Lawrence Woolsey history down the drain, but it lives on, man, forever. Well, thank you so much, Omri.
My pleasure.